We've got to talk about XRP. First of all, there were a couple of issues recently. It was pinged to me a lot that Binance stopped withdrawals for a while, and Ledger confirmed that they had some issues with XRP. Here's Mason stating, Binance suspends withdrawals for XRP. Note to all exchanges, stop calling it Ripple. It's not the same thing as XRP. XRP is not Ripple. You're helping the SEC's case in trying to deem these things securities. And with regards to Ledger, here's exactly the news that came out. And actually in this video, we're going to cover way more cool stuff. If you're into XRP or you'd like to see more XRP videos, or really, just type down below what type of video you'd like to see next. I'm thinking of a top 5 altcoins video or something more about XRP. Let me know. And of course, if you haven't pressed that like button yet, you don't have to, but it helps out. Now, Ledger said on their Twitter a couple hours ago, hey XRP users, we have detected an issue with our backend services for XRP. Our team is looking into it. In the meantime, you may not be able to add XRP accounts or send XRP out. Rest assured, this has no effect on your funds. You can connect your Ledger Nano to the XRP toolkit to view and manage your XRP until we push a fix. And here's one of the most interesting things then. Some people might look at this and think, damn, if Ledger has any front-end issues, this means I will not be able to touch my XRP. And there's one very important thing anybody in crypto should know, and that is that you always have access to your own funds if you've got the private key. And again, if you want some easier front end for it, they are referring to the XRP toolkit. And if you wanted to know exactly what the issue was, the XRP Ledger Foundation explained it right here, but I don't think anybody really cares because it's already been resolved. So now let's move over into some things. XRP, of course, that I personally find a lot more interesting. I think you guys will find it a lot more interesting too. Take and look at the light, huh? I noticed it has a little all the colors mode. That is nice. That is nice. But take a look at this. XRP now braced for a huge multi-trillion-dollar Wall Street earthquake. Now, I gotta give you guys the quick rundown and say it's nothing too specific about XRP in the article. In a recent Forbes article, 𝗵𝗵𝗲𝗿e said that the crypto market is said to be bracing for a seismic event with digital assets like XRP and Bitcoin at the center of impact. And for the most part, it has to do with crazy amounts of money flowing in because Bitcoin ETFs are going to be coming, right? We all know it. But I've already said before that it won't probably be that long until at least the first XRP exchange traded fund is going to be released. It just makes tons of sense. I mean, we talked recently about the exchange traded product that's coming up, the ETP. And like I was saying, it's just a matter of time before proper ETFs are also going to be coming for XRP. And people often like to say, no, XRP, they're not going to go for it quickly. Well, why not? These guys will certainly go for anything that can make them money. And with all the fear of Binance, and now there are a couple of interesting news pieces that I didn't cover yet, but Celsius opening back up withdrawals and FTX selling off Grayscale assets. There's just a lot of fear for the regulatory side. But XRP obviously has already been cleared. And so once Bitcoin is done, the only thing next is Ethereum, but they're already filing those. General crypto ETF is not so close because Kraken and all these other companies are in for lawsuits about ADA, and you can name the amount of different coins, Solana, Polygon, that are all being sued, or at least are mentioned inside the lawsuit for not being proper crypto. And so you might ask yourself, if the SEC is alleging that those cryptos are securities in their complaint against somebody like Kraken, why would they allow for those products to be used in an ETF? Which is, at this point, even for Bitcoin is not being approved. Nah, it's a long ways away. But for XRP, however, it's probably a lot easier. A little side note, there's a link down below in the description to my Telegram. It's called the Alerts Telegram or so. I'm going to be sharing a lot of cool things in there that I won't be sharing in videos, or that I'll be sharing in videos later. I'm gonna try always post my video in there too, so that you always get a notification. But for example, I just updated on my new, I'd say, strategy. Apparently people did not like it too much, which I find strange because this is one of the easier ways to get money for absolutely free. But I think people are just skeptical because they do not know. How it works with these projects is they give you points based on how much you interact with them on Twitter. The positive side is people who've got nothing to lose can interact with them a lot, get a lot of points. Negative side is I've got a big account. I could get a lot of points, but I don't want to post about it too much because people don't like that. Then again, you're not sure how much money it's going to be worth. And so I definitely think it's worth a try. But please understand, I am not telling you that connecting your Twitter is the safest thing out there because I don't know these companies. I'm not promoting them. I'm just telling you something that I found that I think is interesting and I'm doing, as you've seen from my Twitter. But I cannot guarantee the safety. I cannot guarantee results. What I can guarantee though is a $500 XRP trading position over on Bybit. I've left a link for that down below. Completely free, you've got to do almost nothing. Just follow these steps right here. And the funniest thing is as well, I think the only excuse you have is if you can't use Bybit because you're in a different country. But sometimes I tell people that this is free money. And people are like, no, Dusty, it can't be free. Nothing's free. What you don't understand is sometimes people are overcritical of things. If I am telling you it is a good opportunity, it is a good opportunity. That doesn't mean you have to FOMO or ape in. Always do your own due diligence. I'm not a financial advisor. But here it's just a matter of read what it says. Take a look at the risks. There are almost none because it is free. And people, for some reason, I think are not on that grind mode where they understand the idea of a couple tens or a couple hundreds of dollars. But I've told you before, this entire crypto journey for me started with very little. And if you're on your game, even $20, you could turn it to millions in a crypto bull run. But it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen if you don't act for it. And there comes our talk about XRP. I saw on Twitter this right here. Bill Morgan said, wow, I never realized XRP's price performance was this poor compared to other major altcoins, and not only compared to Bitcoin and Ethereum. It has, of course, been under the cloud of the SEC investigation and then lawsuit that entire period, but you would think that it would have caught up more after obtaining legal clarity. Very strange. And before that, Ian said, or 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗏𝗏, I'm not even sure what his surname is, Ian. Buy XRP, they said. It'll make you rich, they said. And indeed, it is quite funny that XRP is pretty close to the price that it was at that time. And that that Ethereum is at like a 10x and Bitcoin is at like a 6x, let's call it. But funny enough, part of this depends on where exactly you take the comparison at. If you take about 5 years ago, you can see that Bitcoin here, right? I'm going to say this is about, actually, it doesn't really matter where it was. Let's just say that Bitcoin here was $6,000, Ethereum was $200, XRP was 50 cents. There was a different time though, where Ethereum was how much? $800, $900 or $600? I'm not even sure what it says. XRP at that point still dubbed Ripple, $3.11. And Bitcoin here, how much was this? 15,000? And the two things I want to get to. On one hand, I'm going to say, like I said before, that if you've got very little money or you've only got one investment, I personally think you should be risking it a lot more. Personal thoughts, right? Not financial advice. And that means don't put it stuck in one thing and then forget about it, but actively keep chasing, actively keep trying. But, and there comes point number 2, XRP from most perspectives is pretty undervalued. I will never tell you that it's a certainty XRP is going to gain. But from almost any analysis that you can do, it just makes sense. And I always like to compare it like this. Now, the charts are not perfectly aligned, but you get the idea. Both XRP and Bitcoin hit an all-time high within this area. Well, matter of fact, this is where our quote-unquote suggestion of go for Bitcoin first and then for altcoins comes from. Because as you can see, Bitcoin went for an all-time high, and quickly afterwards, in the weeks following, XRP hit a massive all-time high. And so in that process, it could have been nice to have Bitcoin first and then sell for altcoins like XRP, but we're just going to say that that was our initial point. Over on the right, you can see where Bitcoin made a new all-time high at 69,000, so up roughly 250% since 2017, and XRP went from about $3 only to $2, so down, let's say 33%. We're expecting that a good chunk of this is because of the SEC lawsuit, but that XRP will make up for it over the next couple of months as we head into the next all-time high for Bitcoin as well. Let's just say that doubles the previous all-time high. Let's say we do that over right around January or December of the next year, as you can see right here. So for example, 150K at January 6, 2025, right? As an example, and XRP were to have a similar sort of performance, we wouldn't have to take it off at the $2 level, but similar to the 2017 level, because again, that's how most altcoins have performed. And here there was SEC suppression. But I personally find that there's been such massive accumulation. XRP has held themselves in the top 5 throughout this entire debacle. They're still relevant. People are still accumulating. The moment that some key levels are hit, it's probably going to go pretty insane. Because again, matter of fact, most people that were to give up quickly would have already given up a long time ago. And a counter argument people like to use is, oh, but if people were that excited, the moment the lawsuit ended, the price would have gone crazy. I keep saying, I think the price was being kept down deliberately. I'm not trying to say Ripple had a market making strategy for sure, but I will say that it does make sense for them to not let XRP go too crazy in that bearish of a market. It would be way better if XRP didn't take out some of those crucial price levels yet, because then the moment it did so in the bull market, it will be way more effective. Otherwise, we'd probably see XRP go over $1, perhaps skyrocketing all the way towards $2 nearly instantly, but then come crumbling back down really hard and potentially be irrecoverable because of all the crazy amounts of fear from then on. But by suppressing the price at about 95 cents, the FOMO, the craze wave, was able to be limited, and perhaps, just perhaps, that saved XRP. Oh, that was a voice crack. There we go. Stay hydrated, folk. It might have basically just saved us too much of a pump and dump that day and keeps the excitement in for this run that we're witnessing right now. You also have got to understand that I said before Ripple has turned on the marketing jets because we saw that like a couple weeks ago, that all of a sudden they were doing more ads. Now, I've taken that back. I don't think they've fully gone for it just quite yet, but from a fundamental perspective, I am seeing the landscape change a lot, whereas the last, I'd say, year, has been extremely quiet in terms of investments, in terms of risk people are taking, etc., etc. A year and a bit, like let's say 18 months has been really quiet. It's starting to pick up the pace really hard. And I think the next couple of months are going to be really exciting again in terms of announcements that these projects will be making, including XRP as well. And so I think that a lot of cool things have happened in time here that have just been shoved under the rug, that people have just not really cared about because of the bearish market. And I often see articles talking about XRP hitting $1 in December, or XRP hitting $1 in general. And my best answer is, getting to $1 is not that hard. It's getting into a sustainable rally that's the difficult part. You don't want a one-time pump, you want it to be basically continuing. And most likely those guys are just waiting for the right time. Perhaps when Bitcoin breaks above 40K and altcoins go for another rally, because that's potentially the end for Bitcoin's dominance, spike upwards. XRP goes on a little rally, flips BNB, gets some excitement, flips $1, gets more excitement, gets Ripple in, gets even more excitement, and just goes crazy. It's all possible. Potentially Gary Gensler gets, some like arrested or something. Could also be some massive, I guess, FOMO or something into XRP, excitement, whatever you want to call it. But regardless of what you think, the most important thing I can tell you is don't give up. And that does not mean don't give up on holding XRP. Hold whatever you want. In your whole crypto journey, don't give up now. That's what I should say. You've held on through the most darkest of times. And I'm not saying don't cash out, by the way. If you're in a really good position, you've made tons of money already, please make your own choices. I always say write things down. I still stand by that. I'm a big fan of making sure your goals are known up front, and that's different for everybody. Some people just want to make $2,000. Some people just want to make $30,000. Some people want to make 30 million, but write it down, because otherwise, I'm telling you right now, and anybody that can relate to this, make sure you press that like button if you haven't done it yet. You'll be thinking about either cashing out early to make sure you've got profit, or cashing out too late in the sense that you think, ooh, or should I get some more? It's the most difficult part about investing, making sure you can get out. Because I'll post this on Twitter a bit later. If you're doing good, you think it's going to keep doing good forever. If you're doing bad, you don't think it's going to be able to recover. We all know that. But then to actually act upon it, because you know things will turn around at some point. So you know that at some point you'll have to sell. But what's that point going to be? Because you don't want to sell and then the price goes up 50% the next day. You don't want to be that guy. But you also don't want to be the guy who just bought a massive chunk of crypto the day that it all-time high'd and the day that it basically went down from there on forward. So it's really a double-edged sword there. And my philosophy is always to minimize regret, meaning if there are investment opportunities, I'd always rather go for the investment, even if it's only very little money, so at least I don't regret not taking it. Or I sometimes tell to myself, it's just not the best idea to invest in this right now. If you had infinite capital, sure, you'd probably go for infinite opportunities, but you just don't. So prioritize and make the logical decision based on your current feelings being like calculations for the most part, and then stick with it, meaning even if it does well. And guys, I've wasted so much money into crappy projects, and I've lost out, or missed out I should say, on ridiculous sums of money by just not pushing the trigger. But I don't think I've got any regrets. Unless sometimes you're too slow. That I might regret, I guess, because that was no calculation. But when it comes to selling also, I've had it multiple times where, a good example is Shiba Inu. Let's say you go from $100 to $50,000, and you think, oh, wow, this is amazing. So you cash out because you made a crazy return on your investment. But then it goes from $50,000 to $3 million. Well, it doesn't because you cashed out. You see that. Some people, they think, wow, I just had a crazy return on my $100 investment. I'm so happy. Some others think I could have had $3 million. And that's just how you see things. It's all a matter of perspective. Again, I personally think if your strategy was, I'm throwing some money in there, hope to get some money out, and you just strike gold, don't get too greedy. And don't think of what you could have gotten because it could have also been zero. You understand the drift. I won't go blabbering on for too long today. The only thing here I wanted to say is, if XRP really ends up doing well, it will not last forever. There will be a point at which it comes down. But from the opposite side, there's almost no chance, in my humble opinion, that XRP doesn't do well. And that means, in my own personal opinion, I don't see a world, right? Where if I put $1 into XRP right now, it won't give me back $5. Yeah, that's my own personal thoughts on the matter. I don't see any world where that's possible. And from that perspective, it's really massive. It's really pretty crazy, right? The idea that any dollar I put in right now is going to be $5 not too long from now, that's the way I think about it. I personally think every dollar is going to be about like 32 or something dollars, but I'm just keeping 5 as a baseline to keep the expectations low. And following that philosophy, the only thing then I can think of is which crypto is going to have the highest amount of certainty to give me a better return. And then I can diversify and split up, etc. Because my portfolio is not 100% XRP or something. But anyway, if you're eligible, if you're in a country that allows for it, I've left a link to 𝗂𝗏𝗏 down below. Claim yourself a $500 XRP trade for free. Because if you're not, it's such a waste. You're literally just taking 𝗂𝗏𝗏's money. So why not do that? That's what I always say. And yeah, I wish you guys all luck in your investment journey. I'm rooting for you, as you guys know. Couple end messages. Be careful with the scams in front of the videos. Be careful with the scams in the comment section. No, I can't delete them. There are thousands every single day. We had a full-time job, worker, or how you call that, but it's just too much work. Every comment you delete, another 30 will show up. It's like pushing a boulder up the hill. Yes, I'm aware of imposters. I get the same message about 10 times a day probably. And no, I will not give you money unless I'm doing a giveaway of sorts. But even then, don't ask for it because you're not the only one. I'd say there are about 100 different beggars every single day. And obviously, you cannot help everybody. Especially the people are interesting. Some ask for hundreds of thousands of dollars even. It's really interesting how that goes. And side note, still have not opened up any group. Still not sure exactly how I want to do it, but you've always got Discord and Telegram, where you can always just ask a question. Hopefully somebody will respond. And I've noticed very often I respond on Instagram too, if that's something you're interested in. But yeah, that's about it.